Now, I know we mixed up the teams before, but since Dash and I really need the practice, we'll play against the two of you.
Looks like you two really do need practice.
Buckball season is at hand, and so is this episode. Is it any good? We'll get back to you on that. Applejack and Rainbow Dash are forming a Buckball team after Brayburn challenges Ponyville against Appaloosa to see which town can put up a better team. While recruiting players for the game, the two see hidden potential within Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy, and I'm not kidding, snails.
You're kidding, right?
It's decided that Diane and Flutters will take Jack and Dash's place in the game, but their passion for the sport and beating Appaloosa drives them to push the two beyond the limit. What they don't realize is that they keep putting pressure and stress on them, which affects their ability to play. Will they be able to collect themselves before the big game, or will Jack and Dash continue to pressure them by having the whole town rely on their victory? So the first thing I should bring up is my disapproval towards Jack and Dash pressuring Diane and Flutters. Not because it's subpar characterization in the episode itself, but because it contradicts character growth and depth that we saw in two previous episodes, The Last Roundup and Hurricane Fluttershy. In the former, Applejack went through a dilemma where she was worried of letting the town down because she didn't win. But she learns that winning didn't really matter to anyone because what's really important is that she did her best, and everybody just wanted her to come home. In the latter, there's an important scene where Dash tries to reason with Fluttershy when she refuses to be part of the hurricane. But instead of growing impatient with Fluttershy, Dash talks with her on her level. Rainbow Dash speaks to Fluttershy in a way that shows that she knows her and how to properly communicate with her. Which makes sense considering that the two knew each other from camp. And then you have this episode where the two act like none of those past experiences ever happened. Alright, I don't mind Jack and Dash learning a lesson about not pressuring others due to their love for sports, but it still leaves a sour note in the episode with those previous experiences in mind. This could have worked if the episode did something to write around those previous experiences instead of forgetting about them entirely. Not only does it make Jack and Dash appear as too naive and selfish, but it makes them seem very forgetful and obsessive with winning. If there's anything good that I can say about this, it's that the two thankfully learn the mistake they were making and think things over during the beginning of the third act, rather than learning at the very last minute during the game where Pinkie and Fluttershy would have been losing. And what's fairly clever about this is that Jack and Dash managed to take this misfire and turn it into a learning experience not just for them, but for the other two as well. Diane and Flutters are told how they can be great players if they really believed in themselves, and how they shouldn't let the pressure of how others may see their possible loss get in the way of their ability to play or how they can have fun with it. Everyone can give in to pressure and get stressed out, but the price of winning should never come at that expense. And it should always be about the game and those who play it. That really is a nice moral for the episode, and it kind of does make up for the awkward setup during the second act. Buckball is also an interesting sport in and of itself. It properly makes use of all three types of ponies, having them utilize their natural abilities and skills in the game by placing them in different fields. There's offense, defense, and technique, which is laid out in a way that's pretty fun to watch. The episode also has a great sense of humor with certain exchanges between the characters, some standout moments where they provide jokes on their own, and it even makes good use of snails. This is easily the most tolerable he has ever been, as he works off the other characters nicely and even demonstrates some reasonable thinking skills, while simultaneously making his lack of intelligence funny instead of annoying.
How do we keep from worrying about it?
You could do what I do and not think about it. Seriously, I don't think about anything. Ever.
On a final note, the episode's ending comes across as kind of lacking. The moral of the episode is that winning isn't important, and what really matters is how you play the game and have fun with it, and not worrying about what others think if you lose. But the episode ends with them winning, which in a way undermines the moral that they were going for. This ending would have been a lot better if they lost because it would have better supported the lesson that the characters were learning. Even if the episode ended ambiguously, it wouldn't have done anything to dismiss the moral. Was Brayburn supposed to learn the lesson? Because there was never a sign that he was worried about losing. I guess this was a lesson for the audience to learn, but we already learned that from the last roundup, didn't we? Well, even if it's flawed, Buckball season still has its standout qualities and many fun moments that allow me to enjoy the episode. It wasn't as good as some other episodes this season, but it's still an enjoyable and pretty serviceable one. It's an episode that I look forward to seeing again sometime soon. MisAnthro Pony, over and out.
They made snails likable? They made snails likable?